is Lindy Kaiser, Senior Editor of ClearanceJobs.com. What a week it has been. I've gotten a few questions specifically this week about the events that took place on Capitol Hill and how those events may impact individuals with security clearances or folks looking to apply for a security clearance in the future. An adjudicative criteria that does not come up very often. In fact, we just reported on top reasons for clearance denial in 2020, and it did not come up even one time. 0 instances of an individual having their clearance denied due to allegiance to the United States issues. But a lot of the information related to that adjudicative criteria centers around someone's participation in groups or organizations that may have nefarious purposes or any intent to overthrow the U.S. government. Working in a national security career is one of the few fields where you may find yourself answering the question, have you ever worked with or for an organization that has attempted to overthrow the U.S. government? So obviously just a bigger issue coming into play this year. I think we can certainly, there is discussion to be had about, depending on what an individual's level of participation was. I'm not going to get into that because it is too politically charged and loaded, but I'm positive that there are security clearance lawyers out there who would be happy to defend someone who was at a protest, and whether or not being at a protest constitutes support for those looking to overthrow the U.S. government. We've written about protests in your security clearance at the Clearance Jobs News site, so you can look up those articles there. The issue that comes up, you still have First Amendment rights to peacefully protest if you are a security clearance holder or work in the national security space. The issue that comes up is if those demonstrations are not peaceful, which clearly is what happened this week. And so any individual that's protesting and comes up against criminal conduct issues, the bigger issue will be the criminal conduct adjudicative criteria. So they don't even need to worry themselves or concern themselves with allegiance to the United States. The bigger issue is criminal conduct. So if you're involved in a protest and it becomes criminal in nature, people are trespassing, people are doing things that are illegal, people aren't peacefully assembling, that's criminal conduct. And even having that misdemeanor violation, again, especially in this climate with what was going on, is going to be the security clearance issue. So security clearance holders, you can peacefully assemble, but you need to be really careful about your affiliations, what you're doing, how you're protesting, and if those protests escalate. I've also gotten questions about social media. Are people going to get in trouble for posting things in support of what's going on social media? We've written about the fact that social media may now be used in a security clearance determination thanks to security executive agent directives that have gone out, but it still is not. ODNI has said it's a really complicated factor. We talk about deep fakes frequently on the site as well and the prevalence of those. So I think ODNI is coming up with the same issue a lot of people do. Just because someone posts something online, how do you verify that it's them posting it? And then what would cross the threshold of supporting an insurrection, supporting treasonous activity when it comes to a social media post? I don't think we're there yet. I think it's worth showing caution. Service members, the bar is always higher for service members. So if you're National Guard, reservist, someone in the military, your set of criteria are even more strict in terms of what you can say and do online or offline. So just be careful. I always say for anybody in any space, security clearance or holder or not, it's good to tread lightly with what you're posting, with what you're saying. Save it for a beer table conversation and not for the social media news sites. And just be safe and make sure that your allegiance to the United States, your allegiance to the Constitution, and just keeping track of being professional toward, your demeanor toward your career is going to go a long way. So for more about allegiance to the United States as an adjudicative criteria and protests in your security clearance, visit us at ClearanceJobs.com.